my name is Kelly and this is Social Bunny, a channel where we discuss everything social media marketing and online business entrepreneurship. Before we head on to today's topic, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you give this video a thumbs up. So today's video is about the struggles of positioning your brand, especially on social media or on an online presence. Now the first thing that I would like to discuss before we head over and just dig into this topic is the difference between a brand image and a brand perception, because oftentimes we tend to think that it's the same thing, but you will realize that it's a totally different things. Now when it comes to like a brand image or branding of your company or your business or yourself, this is basically what you put out there. It's how it looks. So if it's a product, then it will be how the packaging is, how the writing on the packaging is, how the physical product looks like. Or if it's personal branding, it will be how you look, your hair, your makeup, the way you dress, and everything else. Now that is totally different from a brand perception or a brand identity, because this is now how people perceive you or perceive your product. So you might in a way want to take out your product or put it out there in a fancy way, and you want people to like perceive it as a fancy product or as a fancy service or whatever, but that won't be necessarily how people receive it, right? So now this is tricky also when it comes to your online presence and your Instagram and your Facebook or whatever social media that you are using to market your product. It becomes tricky because now you're coming from a place where you are presenting this brand or presenting this product in a fancy manner, but to the people that actually receive the product or the people that actually buy the product, it's not so fancy, it's somewhat regular, and now it looks like your whole marketing or your whole social media marketing strategy is just fake, because now you are selling something that's not there. Which brings me to the first point of discussion: live your brand as it is, as opposed to as what you would like for it to be, because your vision for the brand could be different from what your customers have for the brand. And you must remember that once you start a business, it becomes about the customer and not about you. As much as it's your baby, your product is something that you've produced from the start and whatnot, but you solely started that product because you wanted to satisfy the needs of the customers. Therefore, you should base your whole business or your whole company around satisfying the client. I like to give an example with my body butters, right? So now if I am presenting my body butters as like a luxury silk top of the art body butter, but my customers are just normal people, like normal moms, normal girls, or normal men, or whatever, like just an everyday person who just wants good skin, and they purchasing this product. So now it goes from me now presenting this product on social media as a top-notch Gucci of the body butters, to now my customers who are the ordinary Joe or the ordinary Jane receiving this product. Now my online presence and my social media strategies don't match up with what my client is. So that's basically what it is. It's the image that you have created around your product versus the image that people identify you with or that your customers resonate to, right? That's what it is. Stop dreaming your brand and start living your brand. This means erase everything else that you have. Of course, it's okay to have goals for your brand. We all have ideas of where you want to be or where you want to take your product or your company, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that essentially drives your company or it drives your everyday running of that company. But it's also important to live in the moment. If your company or your product is now received as an ordinary product, an everyday product, run with it and take advantage of that perception that your clients have or that your customers have of your product and run with it. Because what is the point of them perceiving your body butter? I'll give an example of the body butter again. What is the point of them perceiving your body butter as an everyday moisturizing agent, and you now running it as this top-notch luxury not everyone can afford, or like what I would like to call this new day influencer product, when your customers are different from what you are selling. All right, so you are, number one, going to lose those customers because they will not feel like they relate to your product. You are going to lose sales because if people can't relate to your product and you are busy chasing a certain customer that is not really buying from you, then you're gonna lose the customers that you already have. All right, this is also the reason why you should cater to the people that are already following you on social media than the people that you would want to follow you. A video for another day. But yeah, basically it's just design your brand image, or look after your brand image in a way that it will resonate to your existing customers. It will make them feel special, will make them feel like they're being appreciated for actually purchasing your product, and then that will make them want to purchase some more. And if I'm like your client or your potential customer, and I see people are being treated a certain way, like you are appreciating them, you're reposting, you're inclusive of your customers, therefore why wouldn't I want to be associated with such a brand that takes the client so seriously that it's basically letting the client or letting the customers drive the brand, right? Everyone would want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be a part of a brand that excludes everyone and just selling or showing this image of the perfect patties, and meanwhile I'm like just an ordinary person, an everyday working mom or an everyday working young lady or whatever the case that may be. I'll feel like maybe I don't really match up, or I'm not really the target market, which is another word that we like using these days, that maybe I'm not the target market for this brand, because already how it's presented to me through its social media pages or whatever marketing tool that they're using is that it's coming across as a luxury brand, and I'm definitely not living a luxury lifestyle, right? But I can afford it, I want to buy it, I've bought it before, but now here they are like praising a certain image of their customer. I'm definitely going to run to the next brand, which is probably not even offering as much as a good product as you are, but because they're taking care of their customers, I feel like, listen, this is where I belong. So essentially it's not even about, like, you could have the crappiest looking product, you could have the crappiest brand image or the crappiest branding that does not even look as good as your next competitor. You could have a product that is so normal, nothing new about it, it's not solving any new problems, it's just doing basically what everyone has been doing. But because you are so inclusive within your social media marketing, within your whatever marketing strategies that you use, you're inclusive of your customers, you appreciate them, you praise the customers that you already have instead of chasing new potential customers, you could be doing so much better than a product that's basically chasing the dream. It is very important to understand that your brand image or your brand identity is a feeling and not a physical product, right? We have been accustomed so many times when we think branding, we think logos and packaging and how it looks and how it's going to look on the shelf and whatnot, and that we forget that, you know what, the whole idea behind brand identity or brand image is actually the perception that your audience gets from just looking at the brand or using the brand or following the brand's social media pages or whatever the case that may be. So now we are stuck in that thing of my product has to look good and whatnot, which I've also been guilty of, because I've changed my packaging in the small months that I've been running my business. I've changed my packaging about 3 times. I've changed the logo, and then I realized at the end of the day, like, listen, I'm busy running behind making it look perfect and competing against these brands that have been here for a very long time, that I forget that it's a new brand, it's a new product, it's a new company, and therefore should be treated like that. I promise you, if you follow the big brands that you purchase or are following right now, and you just run back to when they started, they didn't start as a solid plan, right? They probably had an idea and then it went the other way, because at the end of the day, essentially it's the audience and the clients and the customers that drive the brand. They control where to take the brand, and as a brand owner or as a business owner, it's important to listen to the audience and just figure out what it is that they like, what it is that they want, and therefore drive your brand towards that, because that is the only way that you're going to make sales. That is the only way that your brand is going to succeed. So this also brings me to the fact that you should not be scared to change your brand as you go, right? Learn as you go. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is going to look at you and think, oh my goodness, you're all over the place. One moment you're doing this, one moment you're doing that. Because at the end of the day, if you're listening to your customers and they're driving you from this to that to this to that, they're actually going to appreciate and look at it like, listen, this person's really listening to us. It's called this also a topic for another day. There's something that we call social media listening. There's a difference between social media listening and social media monitoring, which is a video for another day. But social media listening plays a very important part in building your brand, because you are now able to center your brand around what people want, or around what your customers want, and therefore you are now able to show value in your brand, to show how much you value your customer and how much you understand their needs and how much you just want them to be satisfied by your product, right? So you listen to them, you do as they say, as much as it sounds like you are just now going by the wind and everywhere that they blow you, you're going. But essentially that's what it is, right? You are following what your customer is saying, because that is what you want your brand to represent, the customer. So if your customer is going that way and you're going that way, it will not work well for your brand. You will not get sales. It will not be a top of the mind brand for your potential customers, because you're not representing what they want, right? And also, you don't need to listen to every single person that's out there, because most of the time the people that have the most to say, the most negative things to say about your brand, are actually people that don't even want to use the brand. They might want to use the brand, but it's not important for you to now change things just because someone who could be a buyer wants you to go that way, right? It's important to identify your customer, know who they are, what they want, where to find them, and run with what they say. Do not be caught up with like listening to everyone, or listening to customers that already belong to a certain brand. For instance, if I'm doing my own body butters and I'm trying to get to retain my customers and get more customers, and already the customers that are buying from me, even if it's just 5 people or 10 people, whatever the case may be, they're already stirring me a certain way. But yet I'm looking at another brand which is doing well and has been there for a very long time, and it's catering to a different audience than mine, and it looks like they have thousands and thousands of customers. Now I'm trying to do what they're doing, forgetting that I've got these 10 people who are loyal to my brand and loyal to my product that I need to actually cater to, instead of the ones that are not even looking at my brand. They've already established that they like that brand and they're staying with it, and here I am trying to steal that brand's customers, instead of like catering to the ones that I already have, which will eventually lead to new customers who will be loyal to the product. So this brings me to the end of this video. It might have been all over the place, but I think you guys have caught the essential part of what I'm trying to say. Let your customers lead or stir your brand to where it needs to be. That is the only secret to a successful brand image. It's the only secret, because if you're not listening to the people that are willing to buy into your brand, then what are you doing? Unless your goal is not sales and retention, then you can do whatever you want. But if your goal is to get sales and to retain some customers and to get new customers that will be loyal to your brand, it's very important to listen to them, hear what they have to say, show some value in your marketing communication. Like, show how you value your customers. This could be anything from reposting the pictures of them when they post your product, or just tagging them even to some of your posts, of course without coming off as spamming them, sorry. Take them, include them. If you can do lives, which I'm not comfortable with yet, I hope one day I get there. If you can do lives, do that. Engage with them, talk to them, listen to what they have to say, take their criticism, and just make sure that in your base, or at the source of your brand image or your brand communications, is your customers, and you could never go wrong with that. So that brings me to the end of today's video. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and most importantly, I sure hope you took a part of this video that you will use in your brand or your company or your workplace or whatever the case that may be. I sure hope you did enjoy this video. Please remember to comment down below and tell me what you think and what you have been doing when it comes to building your brand image or your brand identity. And yeah, you can feel free to add on to the pointers that I've pointed out. And yeah, remember to comment, like, subscribe, share the video, like, do the most. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.